If you've been learning Japanese but you can't seem to hold a conversation, or you want to get started and you want to be able to speak as soon as possible, keep on watching because I'm going to tell you everything that I did wrong so that you don't make the same mistakes, how to speak Japanese using italki, and how to make the most out of using italki. Yahoo! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ebi. If you're new here, hajimemashite. I like to talk about my life in Japan and my language learning journey in Japanese, so if you're interested in that, stick around and subscribe to my channel. Part 1 is the problem, not being able to speak. Couldn't speak for a couple of reasons. 1, I was too shy. I avoided practicing speaking at all because it was embarrassing. 2, focusing on the wrong study methods. I was reading a lot more, learning from textbooks. And number 3, I wasn't immersing enough, so I wasn't even listening to Japanese. How can I speak when I don't listen? So this changed around 3 years ago when I decided I was going to commit to my language learning journey, because what is the point of knowing Japanese if you can't really reply back? I knew I wanted to take online lessons and I knew about italki, but I knew it was going to be hard because talking to a stranger in another language, like there's so many obstacles, but I had a mission and like a game plan, so that's what I'm going to share with you today. Clearly I persevered because I've done over 200 lessons now, and I would say out of all the things I've done to learn Japanese, italki is the one thing that has helped me be able to speak Japanese. It's helped me more than moving to Japan and even language school. I'm not even joking. Moving to Japan doesn't mean you're speaking to anyone. So I've actually used italki for learning conversation, JLPT, and pitch accent. But today I'll focus on the conversation part because I do have other videos focusing on JLPT and pitch accent already. Okay, let's get into it. Italki has over 30,000 teachers worldwide, and you can take personalized one-on-one lessons at any time, anywhere with no subscription, pay per lesson. There's both professional and community tutors, which means you can find someone at your price point. I have taken lessons with both types of teachers. The thing I like about italki is you can customize everything, so you can customize based on where they're from, if they're a native speaker, what time they're available. It's very useful. I personally would only pick someone with a native Japanese accent that grew up in Japan because I knew I had problems with my speaking, so I needed to fix my accent. So one of the main reasons I love italki is that it's personalized one-on-one lessons, which means you can tailor it to exactly how you want to learn. I'm going to explain to you and show you how I do my conversation lessons, so you can yoink that if it works for you as well. I also like how you can pay per lesson, so there's no commitment for like monthly subscription kind of thing, and you don't feel like you're not getting your money's worth if you're not using it. Like you can just book one lesson a month, it's fine. But some teachers do have some lesson packages, like you can buy 10 lessons and you'll save like 5%. I used to do that with one of my teachers, Aki-san. It was like leading up to JLPT and I knew I would need the grind of like 10 lessons, you know? I'm gonna put all the teachers' information down there, by the way. If you do book them, tell them that I sent you, okay? At the beginning it can be pretty awkward, especially if you don't really know what to say, and like you can't really say much if you're learning a new language, right? But they do have trial lesson prices, and so even after you run out, you can just keep taking new lessons with different teachers, and I highly encourage you to keep going until you find the teacher that fits well with you. It's like making friends. You just got to keep going until you find the right one. I ended up having this criteria of how to find the right lesson, the right teacher. Number 1 was I don't like when teachers try to speak English with me, to the point that my profile says that I'm from Indonesia, because I don't want people to speak English to me. I think it's a crutch when teachers don't know how to explain things to you in Japanese. Like they'll just translate the word to English, and for me it's a mindset thing definitely, but once you speak to me in English, my brain will want to speak to you in English too. And it's like embarrassing to speak Japanese to someone who knows how to speak English. It's completely in my head, but that's why I try to avoid English at all costs. I know it's different if you're an extreme beginner because you'd want someone that can speak English, but again, try to minimize it as much as possible because a good teacher wouldn't need to use another language. So I accidentally deleted part 2, but basically look for a teacher that is not afraid to correct you, because I know a lot of Japanese people, even teachers, are afraid to correct you because it ruins the flow of the conversation, but that's the whole point of learning a language, you know? You want someone to teach you what you just did wrong. Another thing is that since I learned Japanese from textbooks and formal education, I was worried that my Japanese was like unnatural sounding, and so I wanted someone who would suggest to me like more natural phrases to use instead. Also, that's why in a lot of my YouTube shorts I make videos on what not to say in Japanese, because it's coming from my own experience. Number 3 is quite picky, but I wanted a female teacher because technically you should be conversing with someone you want to be able to mimic. And in Japanese, women and men speak completely differently, like there's different phrases and things like that. So yeah, I just thought it would be easier if I only stuck to female teachers. And number 4, on top of being a native speaker, I wanted a native Tokyo speaker because I wanted a standard accent. I know some people are more interested in like Kansai Ben, and you can look that up. You can look for a teacher from Osaka and then you can learn Kansai Ben. Again, that's another good part of italki. There's like teacher bios and you can just look it up and find the exact teacher that you want. Okay, I'm gonna go do my lesson, show you parts of it, and then explain everything so that you can also steal my format.
日本語はどのぐらい勉強していますか？
子供の頃から。でも多分3年前から真剣に勉強し始めました。
ああ、そうなんですね。最初はどうやって勉強しましたか？
最初は公文だからずっと教科書 とかテキストを読みましたが、あまり喋られなかった。
喋れなかった。
喋れなかった。昨日送りましたの、
これですね。
はい。
そんな感じですよね。なんか例えば、
はい、漢字だけだったら大丈夫。
大丈夫。OK。喋れなかった。
はい、
いいですか？
ありがとうございます。
OK です、OK です。でも今は東京に住んでるから少し東京に友達がいる？
日本に住んでいる友達もみんな英語を話せるので、あまり練習時間がない。
ああ、そうなんだ。でももったいないね。上手だからもっと日本語使ったらいいのに。
そう、まだ自信がない。
そっかそっか。でもエビさんはインドネシアの出身だから、もともとはインドネシア語がネイティブ。
実はオーストラリア出身です。プロフィールはインドネシアの理由は、先生が英語を話せたら英語で話すので。
ああ、なるほどね。
ちょっと嫌だ。
先生にあまり英語を使わないでほしいからインドネシアにしてるって感じ？
はい。もし英語で話したら考え方も英語になります。
もちろんそうだよね。頭の中はちょっと混乱してなんか英語が入ったり日本語が入ったり混ざるよね。
他の問題はもし子供の絵本とか本を読んだら、漢字がないので読みにくい。でも
そうだよね。
高校生の本を読んだら難しすぎる。
そっか。そしたら本じゃなくても私はいつもだいたい生徒と一緒にブログを読んでて、これはなんか日本語の先生が書いたブログなんだけど、いろんなトピック、日本のトピックについて、エビさんだったらもうインターメディアって全然大丈夫だから好きなトピック何でもいいね。この人はちゃんとポッドキャストもやっていて、ここに音も入れてくれているのでちゃんと発音も入れてくれてるし、新しい言葉勉強して、ちょっと難しい言葉ね、例えばこんな言葉結構難しいよね、封鎖。エビさんはどんな授業がしたい？
会話練習
に集中したい。そしたら例えば会話の、これはね雑談マンというウェブサイトね、これは日本人が普通に使ってるようなウェブサイトなんだけど、いろんなトピックがあってでストップして一問なしになったら何から頑張る。一問なしっていうのはお金が全くないことね。でも今日は全然発音とか話し方に関して全然私は気にならなかったし分かりやすいと思ったよ。
よかった。
いえこちらこそ。じゃあまた日本語の勉強頑張って続けてください。今日はありがとうございました。こちらこそありがとうございました。
So the lesson that I just had today with Judy-san was actually the first time that we met, first time we did a 1-hour lesson, and I actually really enjoyed it. I think I'm going to add her to my roster of teachers. All that I showed her was this Google Doc. So I sent Judy-san my notes from my previous teacher that I really loved, but she doesn't teach anymore. Basically shows on the left side there's tango, goi, or hyogen, just the words that I don't know, or the phrases, and she would write them down there and then include the furigana just in case I can't read it. And on the right side is the reibun, so like the example sentence using that word. Ideally it would be a sentence that we just used so that I could refer back to this and then I remember the part of the conversation where we use that new word. And then at the bottom here we have bunpo, which is grammar, and hatsuan, so these are the ones that I needed to remember because I hate when I make mistakes, right? And I want to understand how do I use it properly. I got the accent for ryokin wrong. I guess it's ryokin. And so for today's lesson, this is the notes that I got from Judy-san. Heaps of words that I didn't know, like, oh my gosh, hosho, insurance, or sekai wa semai. Like, I thought it was amazing that there's a Japanese phrase for small world, because it turns out Judy-san is actually married to an influencer, and turns out that influencer is one of my mutuals on TikTok. I have like 20 mutuals on TikTok, so the fact that it's him is just so hilarious. Like, the world is small, sekai wa semai. Point is, you need to be able to look back at your notes, because if you don't do any fukushu, no revision, you're gonna pretty much forget the whole lesson. Like, that hour is gone. That's why I think this lesson type is extremely useful. I hope this video really helps. I promise you it's gonna be worth it if you just persevere, and like, Japanese is just gonna get more fun the more that you're able to speak it. Click the link below to start your language learning journey, and if you buy $10, you're gonna get $5 off your first lesson using code EBIFRIED. Only available for the first 50 users though. Thank you so much for watching. It's been so cool to be able to work with my favorite Japanese language learning resource. All thanks to you guys. Alright, see you somewhere else on the internet, and good luck with your studies. Bye!